Hi, we're in St. Petersburg, few hours before the Kingdom Come concert, and we have a lucky chance to talk to Lady and Native.
Native the Great. He just came out of jail, but don't tell anybody.
And by the way, haven't you prepared any surprise for your audience tonight? Once you've promised a solo from Eric riding a pony.
Yeah, Frank and I actually just came back from a little walk in the park, and we saw this beautiful horse. So I think Eric is gonna do horseback riding tonight and getting naked on top of it. Yeah. I hope he's gonna live up to his promise this time, because we already told you last time. But you know, Eric wasn't. You know, Eric needs a few more drugs, but I'm sure he's gonna do it. Yeah. Cuckoo. So.
Right after our last interview, the girl from the song Crown of Moscow was finally found. We were so glad.
Right, Crown of Moscow is a song I wrote after I fell in love here in Moscow, like not here in Moscow,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I don't know, right? Right. I met this girl backstage, right, and she couldn't speak anything, so we just shook hands, and she was so beautiful. So I wrote a song called Crown of Moscow. He doesn't know because he's like new with us, right? So and they finally found her.
All right.
So they sent pictures, and she's very, very cute, very beautiful, and shabalaba. But I have to look at it from a professional point of view, of course.
So, what's new? Now you can't say that you are the only rock band without any tattoo.
Oh shit! You realize that, right?
yeah.
No, actually, the whole band is so mushy that we finally. I thought I need to do something about our image, because we got nothing, right? No tattoos, and then.
I got tattoos for everybody.
Yeah, right. He got them for all of us, right? Dig it. He has one big one right here. It says, "Fuck you, Lenny." That's really nice. I like that.
Is he solid?
Yeah, it's just you. Actually, to be honest, I really like him a lot. He can't play drums, but he's such a nice guy.
I look good, but I can't play drums.
He looks good, great image, and he's a real great cat. He can't play drums, yeah. So, but we brought this little drum machine, so it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Fake it, you know. Just don't tell anybody.
Fine. Dig it.
Tell us please about your last release, Rendered Waters.
It's just basically, I mean, re-recordings from old songs, as you know, plus 3 new songs. So that's just what we did, and the next record is gonna be like an all new. You know, I mean, just combined out of new songs. But this has been something I've been thinking about for years now, just giving some of the old songs a chance to see the light of the day again, and that's why I just did it. I mean, some of those songs, like Can't Deny, for example, I love those songs, but I couldn't listen to them anymore the way they were recorded in the 80s. So I just pulled out the axe again and just did it the way I felt like doing it nowadays. And that's what I did. So there was no master plan, just, you know, just something you do.
Does the picture on the cover have a hidden sense? For instance, we can interpret that there is a storm inside of you.
I mean, my whole being is like basically like a storm. I mean, God, this is like hard to answer. I mean, basically, I mean, just like the picture says it by itself. There's like the old Kingdom Come logo on the sail ship, hooking up onto the glass with a new logo. So it's like meant to be a visual bridge between the old and the new days, obviously. But yes, my life has been like a roller coaster from day one. But no complaints. I'm very happy about everything, the way it, I mean, whatever happened. But it has been a storm. You know, I mean, like a stormy ride. You know what I mean? Yeah. Frankie.
Hey. Oh,
This is
who's
Frank.
there?
This is Frank.
Nice to meet you people. I go for breakfast.
Schlingel Dingle. You know Frank?
Yeah.
He plays the violin in Kingdom Come. Yeah. Yeah.
So, guys, have a good time?
He's our hero. The last like 4 or 5 months we couldn't do anything because he broke his hand. What was it? Here or
Broke my hand right here. Wrist. Yeah.
broke his hand.
Yeah.
So we almost had to cancel, but today he's like lots of tablets, you know.
Painkillers.
He's on painkillers.
It hurts very much.
Because he's like, you know, soldier.
I still play
You know?
for you guys.
Okay, so
Your hero, yeah.
give it a hand for Frank. All right. Okay, where are you going? Breakfast now? Or?
Breakfast.
Okay,
See
okay.
you guys.
Make sure there's some scrambled eggs for me. Okay.
Can you define your modern musical genre? What is the needle of your compass point?
Let me think about this. That's a deep question. I actually have to think about this. Where does my needle show to? It really depends on from what position you're looking at it, you know what I mean? But most of the time, always upwards. Yeah. Because that's the center of the universe, you know what I mean?
Some of your fans complain that you don't record the songs by the whole band. They say that the drums sound like plastic. Do you care about it?
Plastic drums? My drum machine is made out of steel, honey. You know what I mean?
I say what I heard.
Yeah. Where did you hear that? There's a little guy playing drums. He's very cool. He's sitting like in the computer and he looks very cool, you know. No, actually, I do have some creative exchange, you know. Talking like in the old days, I talked to Hendrik or other drummers, Kai Fricke from Twilight Cruiser. Oh, and actually, Twilight Cruiser was played with live drums. But nowadays, you know, it's not a secret anymore. I mean, whether it's Depeche Mode or Rammstein or whatever, they all use drum machines or samples. So I mean, even if you record like a live drummer and you have a great take, but a few fuck ups, you just move things around so they feel good again. You know, nowadays it's not a big issue anymore to take advantage of the technology. You know what I mean? And I mean, for example, he's like only with us for like this is basically our first tour. I mean, he did one show with us in Sweden, so we still have to like do a lot of bonding and getting to know each other and getting the groove down, because Kingdom Come, I mean, whether you like it or not, requires a very particular feel, and to adapt to that feel is not easy. So I mean, I still have to pull out the whip once in a while, you know, and get him going. He brings a lot of qualities. He's a great singer himself. He also plays guitar for Nena, right? Or yeah, you want to tell the story? I mean, I don't want to like, you know.
Yeah, well, I started out playing drums when I was 12, but I didn't keep really practicing. I went to guitar playing when I was around 16.
He had less tattoos back then.
Yeah, I didn't have any. It's a sticker. It said rock and roll already. And anyway, to make a long story short, I played for Nena, who's a German, what do you say, superstar?
Yeah, superstar, 99 Luftballons, blah blah blah. Nena. Yeah, she's like a pop ding dong, you know.
She's a pop singer, yeah. And she had her big hits in the 80s and big comeback in the mid 2000s. And so, and we thought that would kind of help and make the thing a little more colorful, you know. So we have a little set coming up. Can I tell us?
We have a little acoustic thing. Maybe probably, eventually, most likely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a surprise.
The problem is when you finish a record, like 3 months later, you want to redo everything. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. I mean, there's hardly any musician who's like totally happy with the way it is. I do something, I do the best I can, whatever that means. I mean, I'm not working with the top 10 producers anymore. I do it myself. It has advantages and disadvantages. So I try the best I can, and sometimes I think, oh, thanks God, this is great, rock and roll, you know, goosebumps, shooby-dooby. And then like 2 months later, it's like, oh, you know, put the song in the fucking garbage, you know what I mean? So it's like an emotional roller coaster. That's the life I chose. It's not like going to work every day and you know you're gonna drive the bus and there's nothing's ever gonna change. It's an intense ride, you know, but that's what makes it exciting too, you know? Yeah. You know?
I think that often your albums are ahead of time, and it takes time to listen to it well, to pass on the new level.
I love her. Ahead of the time. Something behind the time. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No, it's true.
Actually, Kingdom Come is actually one of the world's best kept secrets, I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think my mission in this life is like keeping it a secret. Yeah. And in my next life, we're gonna like go through the roof. In the meantime, let's have some fun. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm sorry, honey. Sorry.
I believe that the albums Independent and Perpetual haven't got the proper rating yet, because they need a deeper immersion and perception to understand.
I mean, Perpetual, I know, is a very difficult record to digest. I mean, it's not like a poppy record. It doesn't have like lots of hooks. It's not like, oh no, everybody, let's sing together. You know, I hate that stuff anyhow. You know, I mean, that's like, you know, I'll leave that to other bands who can do that much better. Perpetual is a very heartfelt, kind of a down, moody, intense motherfucker. I know it. It's certainly not commercial. But that's the way I am. I don't give a fuck about commercialism. I don't care about what the record company says. I don't care about, making like tons more money. I mean, it's nice to make some extra cash, but it's not like the most important thing in life. I've seen everything on this planet. I'm very content. I'm very grateful. I'm happy, but I'm not here to please anybody except my little modest self if it comes to my music. And Perpetual was a particular phase in my life. I did it. Sometimes I like it. Again, some other days I think it's the biggest piece of crap. It changes. It's like a daily, changing subject.
You said that you don't focus on anything and anyone when you create, but after so many complaints about Perpetual, you have thrown out the candle and pulled out the axe again. What is some kind of a compromise between you and your fan base?
Of course, we're all hoping to attract as many friends and fans and soulmates as possible. But I can and will not worry about who may like my music or not. It's a waste of time. I mean, I could start writing Bon Jovi songs all day and people would just laugh at me. Or I could try to be somebody else who I'm not. It's senseless, it's ridiculous. Just stick to what you know and follow your path and try to recognize your calling, whatever magic plan there is, So I don't think in those categories anymore. I should be doing this and this. I mean, Kingdom Come fans know that every record has its own justification or its own red thread or whatever you want to call it, So Perpetual, once again, was a very down, moody, experimental, heavy kind of a thing. And then there is Rendered Waters, which is just straight ahead, not so much keyboard, not so much industrial stuff. And just having some fun again. So I mean, it's basically, every record is a reflection from the time which I was living through at that particular period. So that's basically it. So there is no master plan, or I mean that's just not me. I mean there's so many other bands who think truly commercial. Like for example. Take Motorhead or take Bon Jovi. One record, all the other records. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to get out anybody's case, but it's all basically the same format. I can't do that because it bores me stiff. So I'm trying to experiment a little bit. I'm trying to take new routes, adventure a little bit, try those elements. One of the difficulties if it comes to writing is also that I like many different angles in terms of music. Like for example, take Rumours from Fleetwood Mac, and then you take Rammstein, take the Beatles, and then take Depeche Mode or Massive Attack. All those bands have particular elements which I like very much. And when you're a creator, every artist is influenced by something or by somebody. Every painter, every musician, everybody, just by walking on the streets and I'm seeing buildings, people, you pick up a vibe. And then you go back home, sit in the studio and you start thinking, oh yeah man, blah blah. And today it sounds like St. Petersburg, It's just a very momentary, spontaneous, cosmic energy exchange. Like the big guys giving me some inspiration. It's making beep, and then, oh yeah, mother. Whatever, So the good thing is we cannot explain it all, and that's very good so. I'm glad you cannot explain every detail about creativity or why we do things. There are some very talented and great producers out there, some great technicians, and they think in particular categories and they know you should be doing this in order to sell that and blah blah blah. But that's just not my cup of tea. You can tell we're really hardcore heavy metal guys here, right? We're drinking tea, He's done a lot of drugs 20 years ago.
Breakfast.
Do you do some charity, or did you ever?
Oh yes, we've done a couple of charities. Especially back in the States when we were bigger. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's always nice to help if you can, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like Kingdom Come is not like it's not like a Red Cross department, but it's always nice to help a little if you can. Yeah. Like tonight, we're playing for free. Okay, he has to pay for tea.
Can you notice some changes since your first coming to Russia?
Oh yes. That's actually interesting because how can I put this now? I think I've mentioned that several times before that I mean obviously every country has its particular vibe. Let's put it this way, right? When I came to Russia the first 2 times, there's a very particular charm about what makes you people. You know, I mean, it's like something I felt very connected to, something really nice. And my worry is that Russians are still trying to catch up to the Western ways of life. And I'm afraid that some of what is giving you the particular charm is like fading. So, as I was saying earlier, don't try so much to be like whoever else. Just stick to your culture because you have a very very interesting and a very educated, strong. I mean, a nice culture. I mean, okay. I mean, some of the buildings are still fucked up, and you have to like rebuild some of the stuff. But I'm talking about. It's hard to put it in words. I mean, I don't want to like just throw out phrases now and just give you some magic bullshit now. But this is something when I look at a Russian woman's eyes, for example. Or best example, let me put it this way, I mean, to make it easy. Coming to Russia, it's kind of like hooking up to a battery. I'm reloading my spiritual battery, I go back home and then I can create again. And this doesn't happen very much in other countries. I love playing like, wherever. We just played in Sweden, it was great, or maybe one of these days, so God will, we're going to play in the States again, which is basically my second home. I mean, after all, I spent almost 10 years in Los Angeles. So, I mean, I'm in some ways, I'm a little bit Americanized. But speaking of the Russian mentality, there's a lot of good things, charming ways about you. But don't give up on them just because you're trying so much to be like what's your ding dong from
McDonald's?
Brad Pitt here. No, it's just his wife here.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be so American, blah blah. Just be Russians. It's great.
Globalization, I mean, it happens everywhere.
Yeah. Globalization. Thank you, sir.
You go to India, you have McDonald's everywhere nowadays. So if you go to Germany, you have yoga schools popping out of the ground.
Yeah.
So
there is a stereotype, and here especially, that when life is good, people stop really reflecting, inventing. Do you think that the comfort can slow down the progress of a man?
Of course. I mean, you're not forced to reinvent yourself to make a living. Number one, and I mean, some people are very content, just like having their beer and watching some TV, whatever. It's okay. I don't want to nag about those people. I mean, everybody, whatever makes them happy. But to me, just. I mean, of course, this question has been asked a million times before. The sense of life. What is the sense of life? Is it really just making babies, eating 3 times a day, making pee-pee and going to sleep? I don't really know, but I think that the most important thing is find something you feel very strong about, you really enjoy doing. Actually, it's something Steve Jobs, who unfortunately just passed away, Apple's the big Apple guru, which I admire very much myself, actually. And he said the same thing. I don't care what you do. If you drive the bus, if you bake bagels, or you're a musician, or you're whatever truck driver, if you love doing what you're doing and you're good at it, great.
There is a question that especially worries me now. It's about the choice of what to do. That's why I wonder if you ever had any slightest doubt about your choice. Have you immediately realized this was your mission?
I can only speak for myself. I mean, I started when I was 13 years old, and I mean, just like what my biography is saying, my first instrument was an accordion. Da, 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 da. And I wanted to be a Bavarian folk star, you know, like Bavarian music, which is like, but for 1 year. And then I discovered the Beatles. And the first song, "She Loves You." She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I discovered the guitar, and I was covering Beatles songs. And that's when I knew, like when I was 14 years old, I'm gonna be a musician, period. And I was very like, you know, one track minded, and that was it, no compromises, you know what I mean? So some people take a longer time to discover what they want to do in life, you know what I mean? Some people they find their big enlightenment when they're 50 years old or whatever, you know?
I think these kind of things come to you. You don't look for them, you know? That's what I think, my experience. I didn't choose to be a musician. It just came to me like naturally. It had to be, you know? I mean, I don't know, different people might see it differently and might find their way later on and looking for something and be happy, but I think these kind of creative things, what they call talent, being talented, it comes to you, you know, that's what I think.
Right, some people are, I do think that for your hidden talent to surface, you need a certain amount of, like, call it luck, or like somebody pushing it through, you know what I mean?
Coincidence, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but a certain amount of coincidence as well. I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, how did Bill Gates find out that he's gonna be a computer genius? I don't know, it happened. I
saw a guy,
yeah.
When I was 12 years old, I saw a guy playing drums in my school. And I don't know if this guy, if I wouldn't have seen that guy, maybe I would never touch the sticks, you know. But I saw the guy and I knew right away I can do this.
Okay, cool.
I sat down and played the same beat. I saw him do it, you know. Right arm did that, left arm did that, 2 and 4, and bass drum and all that. I can do this.
Cool.
So that's the way I started.
I mean, also once, if you're lucky enough to finding your calling, like your destiny, or like what you should be doing, it still keeps changing throughout the years. For example, 20 years ago, I was so busy chasing women, I spent so much energy, time, and money for women. It's ridiculous, but it's normal. I mean, I was 25. I had my what's a hormone called? Testosterone or whatever in English. I don't know the word in English, you know what I mean? But it was coming out my ears. So every woman who wasn't like up the tree in time, hello, it's me, cuckoo, you know. So I mean, those days are over, and I really enjoy having gotten older in my head, because I'm calm. I'm sitting on my boat, you know, taking a little cruise with Nada, sit in the studio. When I meet somebody nice, I still like to do a little flirty, tralala, but I'm not like, hello, you know. So I mean, and that's when I realized that music is more than just a chick getter, if you know what I mean. It's something very fulfilling, and once you finish a song, it's a very what's the word? You know, I've been spending too much time in Germany and Russia. You know, my English is getting worse by the minute, man.
That's the real life. Is always enough for your inspiration.
Oh, living life is a big adventure. I mean, it's certainly more than enough, yeah.
And last but not least question. Have you bought a massage chair?
What?
Massage chair.
Massage chair?
Yeah.
No! No, I'm still hoping to find my future ex-massaging girl, you know?
Thank you so very much. Can see for tonight. I can wait for tonight.
Honey, and next time, speak louder. Honey. This is Kingdom Come calling from planet St. Petersburg, calling the rest of the world. Rock and roll.